Hello and welcome to Funny True and Blue TV's video of Reddit scams, where we explore scam stories from Redditors who have either fallen for a scam or avoided a scam. In learning about these scams, we can better prepare ourselves to avoid scammers. If you know someone who could benefit from learning more about scams, please recommend our videos to them. If you like this video, please click on the like and subscribe buttons below. Enjoy the video and let's get started.
Our first story is from user JustMeRC. Call from Card Member Services, CMS Corp, saying someone is trying to open credit cards in my name in another state. Is this a scam? I got a call from them a few days ago, and then again today. The phone number is from my area code, and the caller ID says a city in my state. They knew my first and last name and said someone was trying to open 2 credit cards in my name in a state I don't live in. They call from what sounds like a busy call center in India or country with similar sounding accents. They say they are calling from Card Member Services and give me a case number. They tell me their obviously fake English sounding first and last name and pass me off to another person or a manager with the same accent when I question their identity. The manager also gives me a full name that sounds English. He also gives me an employee number. They say something that makes me think they might be trying to sell me something. I forget exactly what it was. Maybe some kind of protection related to people trying to open credit cards in my name. I ask if they are trying to sell me something, and they say yes. I ask if they are trying to scam me, and they hang up. Today, a woman calls saying the same thing. The caller ID says Nextiva from a number in my area code. She says someone is trying to open credit cards in another state, the same one as before. I ask her if it is a scam, and she seems adamant that it is not. She passes me off to another woman. When I ask them why they are scamming people, she hangs up. I could hear one woman talking to the other woman in another language, with the word scam in the sentence before they hang up. User Primary Holiday 5586 says, you just invited them to try harder to scam you when you engage with them. Block the number. It's a spoof, and don't answer calls unless it is someone you actually know. Good job seeing through the BS. ETA, yes, it's a scam. Those aren't their real numbers. The OP says, thanks, I thought so, but I sometimes get calls from something legitimate that's important and from the area code. So I picked up. I usually let it go to voicemail, but when I do, it's the legitimate call, lol. Primary Holiday 5586 replies, yeah, it always goes that way, but you are protecting yourself if you get the real number of the business and call them back. That few extra minutes could really save you. User TWK128 says, Card Member Services doesn't exist independently. It's usually a department in a bank or a financial institution. So yes, you were good at figuring out the little tells that gave it away, that these were scam calls, even if you took what they said at face value. User Bucka, before engaging with calls like this, hang up and call your credit card company at the number on the back of the card to find out whether there is any such problem. There will almost certainly not be. User Mammals Mad says, also go to the big 3 credit reporting agencies and put a freeze on your credit. You can later remove it if you need to apply for credit. And there are exceptions as to who can get into your files even with a freeze, but it'll offer you some protection. You have to go to all three agencies individually, and I wouldn't trust any company other than your own bank or credit union who offers to do it for you. It takes a couple of minutes at each website. Our next story comes from user Good0times. Had my first police officer lie to me. I work in scam prevention for a bank. We get our customers calling up trying to make payments. Sometimes they look suspicious, so we need to query them. Mostly it is normal stuff, but in bank scams, you are never far from a liar. Scammers will manipulate a person so badly they think, let's call up my bank and transfer all my savings to somewhere in Barbados or Nigeria because a cold caller said so. Of course, it's not as simple as that because they're terrified out of their brains, but that is the short version. Today, I had my first officer. Have faced a small business owner, a corporate executive, but police? Occasionally, they are victims of fraud too. Cops need bank accounts like everyone else, but never thought a cop would try to lie to their own bank. That is how bad it is out there, people. If you ever get a call or an SMS from your bank, hang up. Look up the number on the back of your card and verify the call. Don't engage in conversation. Mommy always said, never speak to strangers, okay? User Widespray 2186 says, I'm sure it's happened to every profession, even bank managers as we've seen. We're all people at the end of the day. User Mrs. OD 2007 says, you're talking about that bank president in Kansas? And user Florida Porch Swing says, The Economist made a fascinating podcast on it. Scam Inc. Highly recommended. Psilocybin 6IX says, what did they tell you? OP said, me. So it seems like you clicked friends and family as the reason for this payment of $1,000. Who is this friend? Cop says, oh, friend of a friend. I trust them. Me. Where did you see the service advertised? The cop. Facebook Marketplace. Me. So you don't know them? Cop. No. Me. Okay, now we're going to have to do additional checks. Cop. Seriously? Me. Yes. User Nursey Pride says, I've had them spoof my bank's number, came up as my bank on caller ID because I had the number saved. They acted like fraud prevention, and I only caught on when they asked me to verify my PIN. If they call now, I hang up and call back. Then OP says, clowns, how long ago did this happen? What PIN? Card? Online? I would replace your online banking and card to be on the safe side. Nursey Pride replies, for my debit card. I immediately called my bank and got a new one. The bad part was when they realized they were losing me, the guy actually read off my social security number to try to prove he was from the bank. So I had to put a security freeze on my card. Adorable Ask 6688 says, that's scary that he knew your SSN. Nursey Pride says, it was a real WTF moment. User Grand Hot 4386 says, my daughter worked as a bank teller before grad school. When hired through, had to attend 3 weeks of scam training before even starting work. Because she is young and has a baby face, all the scammers came to her line. The stories were hilarious. One guy tried to print up fake paycheck using the check account codes of a regular customer. The secret button got pushed. The customer was called and confirmed he had not paid anyone. Cops came. All of this so quickly. It was a snowy day. Scammers always argue, get angry, or give a long sob story. There's plenty of time for cops to come. When cops pull up, he tries to flee, but there is ice on the ground. The rest is hilarious slip slide fall comedy. Go to jail. User Mary8915 says, I'm a victim of so-called task scam. Lost £1,000 and I don't know how I got manipulated. I am a very conservative individual, and since the money was on crypto, I couldn't get back my money. The self-destructive criticism doesn't let me alone for a second. I couldn't imagine I would be a victim of these scammers, but I did. It could happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the ordinary people are not educated enough as the technology evolves so fast. OP says, you were manipulated because these are professionals. They're experienced, efficient, and organized. When criminals are cooking up scams, they aren't wasting their time. So try not to blame yourself. If it's any consolation, some people lose insane amounts of money. 1,000 euros may be big to you, but in the scheme of things, it is very small. Scammers research their victims. The best way to protect yourself is to research them back. User Meat of Kings says, well said, this is their livelihood, and they learn from every success and every failure. That's why it's so important not to engage or try baiting them. It's all a business lesson for them. I remind my family regularly. So far, they appreciate it as they have received some of the scam messages that I have warned them about. Voice of Reason-ish says, also a banker. It's amazing how well these scammers coach our customers to lie to us. I have been told that I, personally, was being investigated by the FBI, that my bank's security said they had to take out $100K in cash and buy Bitcoin to send it back, and that a customer had a cash deal on a car that he just couldn't wait to get a loan on. We catch most of them, but sometimes people are just so convinced by the scammer that they get past us. I feel bad, but I don't get why people trust some rando on the phone versus someone at the bank that they've known for years. Our next story comes from user Dry Butterscotch 354. In the US, scammed out of $2K under the guise of being arrested. I feel so stupid and vulnerable. I received a call at work from a number that matched my city's local police department. They said I missed a court date and that there is a warrant out for my arrest. The only way to avoid these charges would be to immediately pay my bail. They said I couldn't use my regular debit card and would have to use a series of MasterCard reloadable cards. I thought this was suspicious, but I am not at all familiar with how bail works and was genuinely terrified of being sent to jail. I buy the gift cards and load a total of $2K on each one. I then tell the officer the information, and he tells me that suddenly they need more money. That's when I realize what's happening, and it all sinks in. Now I'm out $2K. It will not send me into any sort of debt, but it is certainly a big financial hit that I wouldn't want to deal with. I'm just embarrassed and feel incredibly stupid. I wish I had more of a gut instinct to these things, and now I'm just very angry. User T-Poke says, yeah, this is not how anything in our legal system works. Watch out for recovery scammers. The OP says, I know that now. At one point, I told the officer that I needed to call my dad, to which he basically said I couldn't. I was scared and genuinely thought I was being hunted down, so I didn't hang up or call him. I feel like such an idiot. Then Secure Writing 8589 says, there's another lesson here. Anyone using fear and intimidation to rush you to make a big decision, especially a financial decision, is not helping you, is not to be trusted, and is often scamming you. Your problem is that you trusted them despite all these red flags. This is an unfortunately expensive lesson, but hopefully it will help prevent you from suffering further worse problems in the future. In response to T-Poke stating, watch out for recovery scammers, the auto moderator says, hi, T-Poke. Auto moderator has been summoned to explain the recovery scam. Recovery scams target people who have already failed for a scam. The scammer may contact you or may advertise their services online. They will usually either offer to help you recover your funds or will tell you that your funds have already been recovered, and they will help you access them. In cases where they say they will help you recover your funds, they usually call themselves either recovery agents or hackers. When they tell you that your funds have already been recovered, they may impersonate a law enforcement, a government official, a lawyer, or anyone else along those lines. Recovery scams are simply advance fee scams that are specifically targeted at scam victims. When a scam victim pays a recovery scammer, the scammer will keep stringing them along while asking for increasingly absurd fees, expenses, deposits, insurance, whatever, until the victim stops paying. If you have been scammed in the past, make sure you are aware of recovery scams so that you are not scammed a second time. If you are currently engaging with a recovery scammer, you should block them and be wary of random contact for some time. It's normal for posters on this subreddit to be contacted by recovery scammers after posting, and they often ask you to delete your post so that you both cannot receive legitimate advice and cannot be targeted by other recovery scammers. Remember, never take advice in private. If someone reaches you in private after posting your scam story, it is because a scammer will always try to hide from the oversight of our community members. A legitimate community member will offer advice in the open for everyone to see. Anyone suggesting you should reach out to a hacker is scamming you.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to click on the like and subscribe buttons if you would like to see more. Please leave a comment below if you have something to add about the scams discussed today. Thank you and have a wonderful day.